Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video guide for Valheim. Today in this video, folks, we're going to be talking about structural integrity. So that is basically how you build your base. Also, we'll be looking at the height restrictions and, of course, the overall length and width restrictions. So over there I have some tests that I've been running, and I'm going to show you the results of what I have found. It is quite interesting. There are some restrictions, so that is where I'm doing my testing, and I'm going to show you what I found. This is quite interesting because there are some restrictions and I don't really understand how they quite work. However, there seems to be a specific height restriction no matter what you do. I'll cover that later on in this video. So over here, as you can see, I've placed down some foundations and some walls up. Now, interestingly enough, it doesn't really matter where you put your workbench because the restriction is well, doesn't change, and I'll show you that later on. Over here we have the half walls, right? So what is really interesting, this is why I built it here, because is the ground which is leveled, it is the exact same height. These are the half walls, so half of a piece, but it comes out at the same height, which is really interesting to see. So I initially thought it was weight based, but I don't think it is nowadays. I think it is all to do with just simply height. We've got some pillars and some more floorings going up here. I wanted to see how far out I can come from the wall, how I can extend the size of the base, and what I would need to do if I wanted to build a really giant base in the game. It is possible, but it is going to be very difficult, and it's not like Conan Exiles or Ark where you can pretty much build unlimited. There is a limitation, and we're going to look at how things work. So I've got a piece here. As you can see, I've got the pillars going up, and we've got the diagonal bits going into the floor pieces. So as you can see, they are all different colors. I'll explain that later on. That has something to do with the structural integrity of the piece that you've placed down. So that's basically as far as I can go. Now, one thing that I don't like about these games is when they make the wall tiles just a bit taller than the character. I feel like they should be a bit taller. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to place another 2 pillars up here. I needed some more pieces, so we're going to place another 2 pillars up here, and we're going to see how far we can extend the second floor, or the roof for the second floor. So we'll do that because the pillars do act as a structural support type of unit of building piece. So notice the color changes, right? The color changes actually tell us how far we can go. Now, that was it. That piece right there just only supported the one tile that was placed on top of it. However, we can extend that with a 45-degree angled pillar. So we'll do that right here. We'll do it on both sides, and it does extend it, but it extends it by 1. However, on the lower floor, I have noticed that it extends it by 2. I'll show that later on. As you can see, it is cycling through the structural support type of deal. And if we go up here at some point, let's see if this works. I think it's going to break because it's red. Cycling, and there we go. There we go. It extended it by 1, but we can't place another one right there. So that's about it. That's as far as I can go. Now, I would have to place more structural support at the bottom to continue going upwards. However, the further up you go, the less support you will have to build. So basically it will end up looking like a pyramid with the main structural support at the bottom and fewer structures at the top. So that is kind of the idea of how building would work in this certain scenario, and I'm just showing you that without the support the pieces just fall out. It does go through a color cycle. So over here we have, and there's another thing I want to show you with the pillars that I found really interesting is, actually there's quite a few things with the pillars going on. So we've got the main structural beam. Sorry about that, there is a plane coming through. Now if I place just one beam here, that extends the roof by 1. So it cycles, and then we'll place another roof. That's kind of in the way, so I need to figure a way out to do this without. I mean, I didn't have a lot of space to work with. However, what's nice about this is that the bases don't actually support each other if they're not connected. And the next one shall fall off, as you will see in a bit. It cycles through the colors, and there it goes. However, I can actually extend that by one more piece, and what I have to do here, right there, notice that color? So that is a bit of an orange, that is red. So that is basically telling me that I can't snap another piece to it. Jesus Christ, there are so many planes flying about right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend that by one more tile piece. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to place the 45-degree angled pillars. So I'm going to explain the colors right now, actually, so you guys understand. So blue is the base piece. It has got the most structural integrity. Then we go into green. We go into a brighter green, which means less structural integrity. Then we go into this orange color, and then we go into a red, and then into a dark red. Anything after the dark red basically means you can't add another piece to it. The game will cycle through the structural integrity. Now, these pieces have the blue color because they are snapped onto the ground. These are kind of floating, although I did try and level out this particular area of the base. So now let's get into what I was on about, what I was going to show you. I'll remove that. Actually, I'm going to remove that as well, just to show you that it needs to snap onto a foundation, not the wall. I mean, obviously it was hovering just above the ground. And in other games, that would be classed sometimes as snapping onto the ground, but it needs to snap onto a foundation piece. So that is quite important there. And I'll show you the other bit with the angled pillars. So here we are with the angled pillars. Remember, now we're doing with the 25-degree angled pillar, and this will extend the roof by one piece. So we've got the red there, but because we have a angled pillar at 25 degrees, we can add one more tile. However, if I do place the 45-degree, I believe it's a 45-degree angle piece, I can extend it by two tiles, which is quite interesting. Now, this only works on the, I would say, for first level. So I can add another piece at the end of this, but it will break. There we go, as we thought. However, if I remove these, the end piece will fall off. Alright, same thing applies if I put a 45-degree angled pillar just like on the other side that you saw there. So it will extend it, I think, by one. There they are. This is the one that I'm after. But if I'm going to show you that. So that cycles, it goes to that. I can add another piece. If I add the other piece next to it, it will stay. If I remove the angled pillar, it will fall. So we'll wait for it. It's cycling. Now I'll put another one up there. It'll break, as expected. So, however, watch this. I am going to go for this right there. We're going to start it further down here, and then snap it onto this. We'll remove that. We'll wait for everything to cycle. And now, I can actually extend it quite a decent amount. That piece will not fall. Alright? But the next one will, of course, fall. So you can do that if you want to build large structures. I will start with the angled pieces closer to the ground. There we go. That'll go into the water, so I can't recover that, which is fine. But yeah, definitely start with the 45-degree angled pieces further down. And also the 25-degree angled pieces, as you saw, don't really support that much. So next up, I am looking at how far I can go with the first floor. I'm trying to snap it onto this, and then we'll do this. I'm going to try and see if I can build a mock-up of a, say, giant ground floor base. So we're doing just a ground floor, and then obviously we know that the further up we go, the fewer pieces we can attach. So it does exponentially decrease the amount of pieces that I can add. Now, don't follow the circle right there. I don't know why that radius right there is being shown. It makes no sense to me. So that, as you can see right here, which is really interesting, I need this right there. I still can't add another piece to it. If I do, it'll fall. So I did go from the base down. However, that is the maximum distance I can go. So this is 2 tiles high, and then basically, as you can see, we've gone to the maximum length that we can go. If I remove the floors, I will then of course demolish all of the roof pieces. However, I can further extend this if I just basically build out more floors and then add another structural support. Now, it's easier to do this on the ground floor, as you will see right here. So we'll go with, I think that'll do by my calculations. I could add another one, but there's no point in it. So we'll do 2 pillars tall, like so. And hold on a bit. I think I need another piece, don't I? See, can I snap it? No, I'm going to need another piece. There we go. And then we're going to add the 45-degree angle piece. Right? That's the wrong one, isn't it? We'll do this. And that will allow me to further, if I don't fall, extend the roof by a bit. So, or the next floor. So that's green now, because it's got support. It'll go to another type of green. And I can continue building out like this if I want to build a large ground floor. I can do that. It's gonna work. Yeah. But you have to have the supporting structures to it. I'm waiting for that to see what happens. It'll break. It cycles and breaks. And that's pretty much how it works at the ground. Now, of course, there is also a height restriction. So now we're going to look at some other bits and pieces. We're going to build as if we were to build a giant base. So that will cycle. So at the base of these pillars, there are some more pillars going into the ground. So again, we're trying to build a giant base. That changes to green. Cycles and cycles. So we now have an orange telling us that we can't really put too many more pieces on it. So we'll add another one right here. And we'll pretend that this is the second floor. Let's see what happens with that color. And it goes into an orange. Next piece will be red, and anything after that will break. Whoop, I fell. So as you can see, I have basically replicated on the second floor what was on the first floor. If we go one further up, you will see that those pieces that were orange will of course turn to red. And of course, unfortunately, that will be kind of the height that you want to build at. So I would say you want to build, and I'll show you later why, you want to build your base at a maximum of 6 normal tiles high and no further, because you will want to add a roof to it if you're building with wood. So that will prevent damage from the storms. Now we'll do this right here. 2 of these wonderful pillars. We'll add some of these 45-degree angled structural support beams. Now the pillar does increase the support by 1 and the angles, the angled pillars by another 1. So you can kind of extend it in that way out. So it's red. The one below us, remember, is orange. And this is to do with the height restriction. Of course, we do have a restriction based off of the crafting bench, the building bench right there. So it'll cycle again. We're still red. Anything past that will break. So if I were to put a piece, I can't really reach it, can I? Can I do that? So just kind of to show you the difference in colors. Now we're going to look at the height one as well. So I'm trying to get this building to go as high as possible. So below I have added the walls, which in many other games sometimes does increase the structural integrity of your building. However, in this game, it's just that it's a wall. So nothing's changed with the structural integrity. Of course, these are going all the way down into what would be the floor or foundation of this particular building. I'm trying to get around here without actually killing myself, because this is a bit dodgy. Okay. So now if I add some more pillars right here and some more walls, I'll show you what happens. Because now we're looking at the maximum height limit that we can reach. And the maximum, and you will see that later in this video, the maximum height limit is a total of 8 normal tiles. So I'll place the roof right there and wait for it, there we go. That's it. We have reached the limit. Now you think, well, you have the workbench at the bottom. Well, no, I do have a workbench up here as well. So if the workbench gives us not necessarily a cone but a sphere of building structure or building space, then technically, practically, by having a workbench up here past that wall right there, we should have another sphere. But it's not a sphere, it's not a cone. It might be one of those, but basically what I'm saying is there is a maximum tile piece height. So the maximum tile piece height is a total of 8. So that's kind of how it works. Anything beyond that will not work. So that means, of course, when you build your structure, you will have to take that into consideration, as you will need to place a roof to prevent those parts of the structure from taking damage. So we're waiting for it. It breaks down, and yeah. So I am at the 8th piece of wall going upwards right now. I cannot place anything on top of this because this is the maximum restriction that the maximum height. Now underneath me there is another workbench, and so if this was a sphere, the workbench should be in the center, and so I should be allowed to continue building upwards. But that's not the case. It doesn't make a difference if it's a cone or a sphere, the radius in which we can build based off the workbench. What I can see right here is nothing that I do will allow me to build past a total height of 8 tiles. So that is the exact same thing there. You will see that with these pillars later on in this video. You can count them. You can pause the video. I'm not going to start counting them. Now over here you can see that all structures are at the same height no matter what I did. If you want to look at the pillars, feel free to pause the video and count the individual pillars. You will see that there are a total of 8 pillars. However, if you look at these half tiles, if 8 is the maximum structural limit, then 16 of these tiles will basically be the limit. So if you do the half walls, so that's the way it works. Just keep that in mind when you're building your structure. So right there you can see all the pillars. Feel free to pause the video and count the pillars because that is the exact height of a normal tile. I do hope that this helps with regards to building a base. I wanted to run these tests just to get myself some knowledge with regards to how building and the building mechanics in this game work. So that way when I finish leveling out this little area where I will make my permanent base, I know exactly how to work with the building pieces and how I can build that wonderful big base that I want to build. I do like building giant bases. However, unlike Conan Exiles and Ark, there is a limitation both to height as well as to the length and width of your structure. So keep that in mind, and the further up you go, that limitation basically increases, so you can add fewer pieces and fewer pieces with each level. With that being said and done, that is pretty much it for this video, folks. I do hope that you have found this video useful and informative. If you have, please do not forget to support me in the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos and content to the channel. Also, for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethum Discord. Links, of course, you can find down below in the video's description. And until next time, stay safe, folks.